Mr. Toastmaster and Good Evening Club and honored guests. I really hate turning on the news these days. I really hate opening up my 401k statements because I know what I'm going to see. Everywhere I turn, I keep hearing talk about the next Great Depression, #2, coming up. Riding on the hill like the Four Horsemen. People overextending themselves, buying homes they cannot afford, and also losing their jobs on the side as well. Great Wall Street firms, such as Lehman Brothers, are going under, and they're due to novel mortgage instruments that our fathers and grandfathers wouldn't have dreamed about. AIG was one of the, I think it's the 18th most strong company in the world, is now looking for a handout. Guess from who? Me. You and I. So, what do we do about this? You know, at last count, I see that 27 states are in a recession and 15 are just about to be on that list as well. What's going on? Are there stupid people out there that making all these decisions to do this? Well, folks, I do not believe that it's intelligence that we're dealing with here. Because you know what? There's some very intelligent people out there who got caught up in this debacle as well. I will tell you what the problem is. The most serious problem in the country and in the world today is rampant and reckless greed. The mother of all sins. It's looked upon today as some kind of good virtue. So much so, in fact, that a South Korean financial researcher was fired recently for giving an interview on a talk show saying that the reason for this crisis is because there were a lot of greedy people out there. See, and he got fired for telling the truth. It is said that the markets live on fear and greed. How interesting. How interesting. That's the same timeless virtues that our arch enemy, Satan the devil, has. Fear and greed. You know, he lives on that. But you know what? You know, in our own hearts, there's a little bit of greed lurking in each and every one of us. Don't ever think that it's not there. When the right opportunity and test comes along, greed seems to pop up unawares when we're not careful. Let me give you a personal story. This happened to me in 1999 at the height of the dot-com boom. I invested in what I considered at that time a very promising internet company with no earnings as yet, but it was promising, so I bought the stock on margin. In other words, I purchased the stock with borrowed money, with other people's money. As the stock rose at 1.2800% in nominal dollars, I bought more, on margin of course. As the stock rose, I showed my investment friend, and he looked at it and he says, "Man, you need to get out of that thing right now. It's already up in its 6 figures." But I said, "No, I'm going to wait till it gets to 7. Because I think it's going to get to 7. So I ended up borrowing more and putting in more. Well, I was proud, just as my chest was sticking out right out here. And in due time, the bottom fell out. The stock collapsed overnight, taking all nearly all of my initial investment to the ground. So I experienced my personal Great Depression. It took me some years to recover, but however it brought the greed to the surface for me. Jesus warned us in Luke 12 that we should be on our guard to watch against all forms of greed, such as gambling, adultery, gluttony, idolatry. In Colossians 3, it says there that greed is considered the same as idolatry. No wonder it's considered one of the 7 deadly sins and the mother of all sins. Are we enslaved to this greed forever? No, there is hope, thankfully. Contentment and generosity are the opposite of greed. As we learn to thank God for what He has freely given us, and then we share it with others, we stop trying to fill the spiritual vacuum in our hearts, and then when we learn to love Jesus more than money and possessions, we find that He is the greatest treasure of all. We discover that knowing Him is the source of genuine satisfaction.